People deluded. Arsenal in the Emirates Cup obviously just lost 2-1 against Lyon. First and foremost, before I begin, forgive me with the audio issues, people, as I try and fix that. And I think my neighbours are in the garden, so you might hear some funky noises. But we know pre-season, every game we play brings us closer to being match fit, and most importantly, the start of the season for us against Newcastle. We need to have a good season next year for obvious reasons. We need to start the season well. We've got an away game, first game against Newcastle. We've got United in September, Spurs and Liverpool very early on, if I remember correctly. So we need to hit the grounds running. Several things we need to improve. And I must admit, again, people, you can't look too much into pre-season games, but as we're kind of getting on, excluding this game that we played today, we've got Angers and Barcelona, and that's it in terms of pre-season, unless the boys do some behind closed doors. I must admit, I was hoping to see certain things take shape or see encouraging signs, and I haven't really seen it. I mean, especially in the last two games, today obviously against Lyon and against Madrid, at times the defending and the game management just hasn't been there by everybody collectively. Today, obviously, you saw for Dembele's goal, his first goal, he's unmarked for his header. His second goal, obviously we'll repeat these things, but his second goal, you obviously saw we've got two centre-halves. He's got in between both of them. Neither one of them are aware of him. They're stuck putting their hands up while he's putting the ball into the back of the net. Obviously, if you were reaching, you could say taking chances, because first half we did have a number of half chances. So for me, a pet peeve would be definitely off the back of the last two games we've played. Defensive concerns, we're still leaving men unmarked, we're still conceding quick-fire goals and whatnot. Obviously, the quick-fire goals was against Madrid. But today, obviously, you saw Joe Willock start, and it looks like he's going to be, we hope, to get some significant opportunities next season. If he takes them, it's down to him, but you don't know how good someone is or can be if you don't give them an opportunity. So it's nice to see him start. Obviously, Ceballos is on the bench. I don't know if it's to fuel any speculation, and I'm not in the know, I'm just a fan talking about football. Sami Khedira was at the game. I'm not too sure for Juventus' pre-season plans, but if he was central to their plans, would he be at the Emirates? Again, I'm not sure on their schedule, and I'm not saying he's coming to Arsenal. I mean, is it 2013, 2014? Who knows? He might just be there to watch a game of football. I just want to get onto it, people, but I have to mention it. Lacazette did look like he had a protective boot on in the game. I don't know if that's a precaution or a serious injury. I don't want to speculate. I just wanted to mention that. But going back into it, I feel first 20 minutes we played all right, man. I feel first half we had it on lockdown. We obviously scored in the 35th minute or so. I feel first half we were all right, man. We were playing decent football. It could be better, but we were playing some decent progressive football. I think we threatened Lyon down either side. Maitland-Niles put a couple of decent balls in and things like that. I was loving Joe Willock's work off the ball. He's got a point to prove to Emre. He was making them runs beyond the defenders off the ball, and even if the ball don't come to you, you're taking players with you, which opens up space to everybody else. That being said, he should have scored a tap-in, and not just him. I feel, if I remember correctly, when Nelson came on, he had an effort, Joe had an effort, Obama had an effort, Mkhitaryan. We had a couple efforts which were just tamed opportunities, tamed shots at the keeper, better yet. And I'm not harping on about them or blaming us being defeated today on them. I'm just saying we should have taken our chances, because we did have them, and we've got a big part of last season, or in Arsenal in general, is that when we smell blood or we're on top of teams, we need to take our chances, and we didn't do that. Lopez made a fantastic save, if I remember correctly. Maitland-Niles put a ball in, and I think Mkhitaryan had a shot. It was a lovely save. I think that was the effort I'm on about, in which Joe Willock should have scored. But generally, first 20 minutes, I feel Lyon, they can play a bit better. They can be a bit braver. I feel we're a bit in control. I would describe the first 20 as probably flat. It's pre-season. There's not much on the line between the two sides and things like that beyond an exhibition. So yeah, I think we were decent recycling the ball. I was impressed with Nelson. I think Nelson has shown that at times, obviously, he's going to frustrate as he tries to develop as a player. End product and decision making isn't quite the best, but he's a lovely, confident dribbler with the ball. And some of the little, you know them, like, oh man, so I could be here about Nelson all day. You know them ones there when he's doing them little body bounces and them little feints, and he's got his back to a defender, and I got a lot of time for Nelson, man. I think Nelson was showing good moves in that game. Couple little dribbles, he's doing little things. He showed in the patches he's got something to work with. What I love the best as well, I think his first kind of dribble where we're like, whoa, in the first half, 50-50 sort of with some defender. The defender tried to weight him like he doesn't eat his planting and his things there and whatnot. I think he's of Zimbabwe descent, so I guess he eats his jollof rice and that. He moved him, and obviously would Nelson, I'm not saying he wouldn't, but would Nelson be able to do that if he didn't go to Germany? Because one thing I've told you lot in my vids from watching Nelson, physically he looks a bit bigger and on this thing, and obviously that's playing with grown men and whatnot. I think Nelson looked good, man. Obviously, fingers crossed for Lacazette. Lacazette should have scored as well. Fingers crossed for Lacazette, but I feel we did alright in the first half, man. Pet peeves, build on the pressure. Obviously, you want to score goals and all of them things. I feel Joe Willock's doing this thing for me. I'm liking Guendouzi. Guendouzi played a straight pass in midfield. A couple of players did that. But I was liking what I was seeing from Guendouzi. He looked to be a busybody. Maybe he's missing being at the Emirates because obviously he's been away and at different holidays and all of these sort of things. But generally, I think we're doing all right in the first half, and I think we deserved our goal. I think we deserved our goal in the 35th minute. Obviously, Maitland-Niles. Wait, how did it go? Maitland-Niles obviously fizzed it. Maitland-Niles obviously fizzed it into Mkhitaryan. No, Maitland-Niles passed it to Mkhitaryan. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Mkhitaryan fizzed it across goal. And there's a touch of fortune for Aubameyang to score from there. And you can say we deserved that. Like I said, we probably should have scored more. Why I got confused is because I think in the 34th minute, or just before we scored, whatever minute it was, I think Joe did very well down the right-hand side. And I was liking Joe's willingness to run. Obviously, a lot of that is him wanting to impress, youthful exuberance, and the key will be keeping that sort of aspects in your game when you're an established player, if you're an established player. But I really liked what I saw from Joe Willock today in both roles. Second half, he obviously played closer to Xhaka, more like in the pivot, which he has done at Arsenal. Really like him, really think he impressed in the sort of what I call the Ramsey role, in that you obviously have to press with the striker and make the runs in behind. Very impressed with him. Second half, though, I must admit, people, maybe it was complacency, maybe it was just failing to take chances, maybe it was the couple of changes, I don't know. Maybe Lyon just woke up, but I did feel from the first minute in that second half, Lyon was starting to get in behind. They were starting to hustle chances. Their players were starting to get to the final third. They were showing less respect to us. And you saw Depay have a couple of half chances, miss hits, screwing them wide. There was a couple of them sort of things. So you did think it was going to come, people. You did think there was going to be a point where they scored. I did feel in the second half we started to slip into old habits. I'm seeing midfielders not tracking runners. I'm seeing us get hit on the counter attack, and a number of our players left high up the field. I'm seeing us go back into old habits and stuff that kind of let us down last season and was a big contributor as to why we both didn't qualify for the Champions League, because of the position we found ourselves in, and the Europa League. People, you could really see it. Like I said, we're slipping into old habits, and it's becoming more open and probably a better game for the neutrals and whatnot. That being said, we're still having half chances in that second half. Numerous people, with Aubameyang, with everyone. I must say, when Lyon went 2-1 ahead, people, I'm going to jump in a bit forward, yeah, but Ceballos looked good when he came on in his cameo. Ceballos is a free kick specialist. Maybe he's still got to chat to the team in that, but with the minute he got fouled and that was a free kick, considering the context we were at, I was thinking, Ceballos, do that free kick like you did in the Under-21s Championship for Spain. Take that. When I saw Aubameyang over it, I knew what time it was, because I like Aubameyang, but I know he scored a free kick, but really leave it alone, man. I've had more faith in Lacazette taking that, or Ceballos on the field, really and truly. 56th minute, Nelson put a lovely ball across the box and no one was gambling. I felt Eddie did alright when he came on, but he could have gambled a bit better. And Eddie and Nketiah had a couple of chances he should have taken. And if I'm harsh, Eddie has had a great pre-season. But if you look at the Madrid game and Lyon games, where they've kind of really mattered against two of the probably more standout oppositions, excluding Bayern Munich, who we played this season, in pre-season, he's got to take them chances, because they're the things people remember. It's all fun and games doing it against Florentino or Colorado, no disrespect. And again, I'm not blaming them, I'm just looking at everything, because we let ourselves down. We had a couple of half chances, and ultimately throughout the game we just didn't take our chances. I liked Eddie. 61st minute, he showed some good little twinkle toes, fashion and effort, but the keeper was quick off his line. We had a couple half chances, obviously, people. Martinelli had an effort disallowed for offside, like you saw, and shortly after that, like I said, we're slipping into old habits, not tracking runners and things. The ball comes in from a cross, I believe. I can't remember the Lyon guy, but I did feel in the build up to the goal we could have done better. I can't remember who lost the ball. I did feel Maitland-Niles could have made more of an effort to deny that cross coming in, and ultimately Dembele, their striker, a decent striker in front of goal. I know he didn't have the best under-21s championship, but he's been in good form for Lyon generally, and obviously Celtic before that and Fulham. He's unmarked. It's a free header, and he puts it in. He makes no mistake. He makes no mistake to make it 1-1. I jumped a bit ahead, sorry people. Obviously, for 2-1, you obviously saw Martinelli his goal fell to Stamford offside. Shortly after, they counter-attacked. Like I said in the beginning of this vid, I'm seeing a striker like he's out. You watch the goal, people. You can see him look across at our centre halves. None of them are watching him. He makes a run for them and he makes a run off the ball. He's onside. Our players are caught putting up their hands. He is onside 100% and he slots it home. It's a goal we've conceded consistently this at Arsenal over the last few years, and it is a cheap goal. And this game really did show the good and the bad of Arsenal, and almost showed really a microcosm of our last season, really, or what was our last season in that. We have a lot of opportunities when the game's going our way. We play well. We don't take our chances. Possibly our game management lets us down because at 1-1 we should have said, yo, listen, let's kind of fix up. And you're seeing the same old habits and things like that. I feel Lyon deserved their goal. They woke up in the second half. On the large part, the result means nothing. At the end of the day, it's the Emirates Cup, and I will say it was nice of Arsenal to obviously let the women play before the game and try and do their bit to help raise the profile of that game in their small little way. And it's the Emirates Cup. It doesn't matter. But just in terms of game management, in terms of just purely focusing on the game and not the context of what the actual game means once it's done. There are some things we could have done better, and there are some things we failed to do last season, which if we fail to get right now, are going to contribute us to this season not being the one we want to have, potentially find ourselves in the same old spot. I'm still again, if you're playing offsides, play offsides. But I keep seeing strikers and midfielders be lost by our men, and we're putting our hands up. There's a lot to get right. Again, we was never going to get it right in 4 to 6 months. But the key for me, I would have liked to have seen is more positive steps towards that. Now we might be making more positive steps towards that. Emery might see that, the coaching staff and the people that are doing the drill see that. But to the naked eye, a fan that just goes to work from Monday to Friday, comes to see Arsenal on the Saturday, do they necessarily know that? Who knows, people? I believe our next step is Angers. I believe we're going to France midweek. And then we've got Barcelona at the weekend. Or don't quote me, I'm not sure when we actually have Barcelona. Before it's all said and done, and we're ready to stick season to kick off, really and truly, people. There's still a lot to work to be done in terms of incomings and possible outcomings. There's still a lot to be done on the coaching front, people. So we'll see what happens. But for now, in regards to our 2-1 defeat against Lyon, that's my review. I've got nothing more to add. People, Deluded, thank you for watching and rocking as usual each and every time. It means the world. I'm out.